आय कृष्ण भक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
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 कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. So dear devotees, you are welcome for continuity of our Bhakti Shastri studies. We are discussing chapter 4, the transcendental knowledge, and we are in the section 3, understanding karma on the platform of Jnana. It means performing action with knowing the work which will bind one or the work which will not be the result of bondage. Gyan means with knowledge. So Sri Krishna has used 3 words regarding karma. He has used the word karma, vikarma and akarma. And we have to know the definition of all 3 words. Out of all 3, the one which never make a person entangled or bondage is akarma. So our objective is to become akarmi, which does not mean that we should not work, which means we should work with 2 understandings. The first understanding is that I am not the doer, kartapan. And the second is I am not bhokta, or the enjoyer. So one who works with the understanding and attitude that I am not the doer and I am not the enjoyer of the fruits. I am simply doing work for the pleasure of Supreme Lord. Then it is called akarma. The karma is according to the rules and regulation of scripture, which is a pious activity which leads one to the more happy life on a higher planets. And vikarma is the work which is against scripture and always leads to a miserable life in hellish planets. So this is the meaning of the 3 words. So verse number 18 says, akaramani, say karmani akaram yapashyed. Karmani akaram yapashyed. It means while working, one sees that he is not the doer. Akaramani cha karmaya. And while he is not attached and he thinks I am still doing work, Sabbuddhiman manishyasu, that he is the most intelligent person. Sayuktaha, it means he is qualified for liberation. It means he is already connected by his karma with Krishna. Kirsan karma kirt means and has performed all action. Kirsan means all. Karma Kirti means action. So he who sees inaction in action and action in inaction is intelligent among men. He is qualified for liberation and has performed all actions. Somebody can read the translation by Srila Prabhupada?
Anurag Pranam, Prabhuji.
Yes.
May I, Prabhuji?
Yes.
Thank you. Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. One who sees inaction in action and action in inaction is intelligent among men, and he is in the transcendental position, although engaged in all sorts of activities. Thank you, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
So what Srila Prabhupada has said, the transcendental means yukta. Yukta means he is connected. He is connected with, yukta means generally yoga or yukta is the same word. It means his work is connected with Krishna. Therefore it is transcendental. So I'm just reading here on the screen, you see Baldev Vidyabhushan's commentary says, the desire of liberation who sees...
Recording in progress.
The desire of liberation who sees action undertaken for purification of heart. It means he is working for purification of his heart, not for the results to enjoy or the ego of doership. So the work, the action undertaken for purification of heart as a form of jnana, since it aims at jnana, which means knowledge, inaction and action. That is the inaction and action. And who sees jnana, which means knowledge, as the form of action, because action is the means to jnana. Actually, the theme is that Nishkam Karma Yoga leads to Jnana Yoga. Two things when achieved in Nishkam Karma Yoga, then he is qualified for Jnana Yoga. The one thing is knowledge and the other thing is detachment. When one acquires the position of a knowledge and detachment while doing Nishkam Karma Yoga, he is considered qualified for Jnana Yoga. So what actually here Jnana means? Knowledge that I am not the doer. Kartapan ka ahankar nahi. And what is the meaning of detachment? I am not the enjoyer of the actions, of the result of the work. So, when there is a jnana and detachment, knowledge and detachment, the Nishkam Karma Yogi is qualified for Jnana Yoga. In other words, he who knows that karma and jnana are one, because the goal is one. Because karma is to get jnana, and thus seeks out the truth about Atma through his action, means he is working only to know the Atma or the soul being performed, is intelligent or learned among men. So Chakravarti, this verse gives a understanding of the truth of action and non-action. And Chakravarti Pad gives the example like a Maharaj Janak. The Maharaj Janak is Nishkam Karma Yogi. It means he is performing action. He has not renounced the activity, but rather engaged in action in Nishkam Karma Yoga. So he do not acquire karma. Therefore, he is akarmi. and who sees that one who does not perform action, renouncing action as sannyasi, but still his heart is not pure, and he has no knowledge, though talking profusely of knowledge, because of knowledge of the scripture, actually obtained bondage of the karma leading to misery. So though he appears that he is a karmi, but he is still, his heart is not pure, therefore he has no proper knowledge, and therefore he is still not doing but is in bondage. So Srila Prabhupada writes, a person acting in Krishna consciousness is naturally free from bonds of karma. So Srila Prabhupada simply says, work in Krishna consciousness is akarma. His activities are all performed for Krishna. Therefore, he does not enjoy the fruit or suffer any of the effect of work, which means heaven or hell. Usually, heaven is for the karmis and hell is for vikarmis. Consequently, he is intelligent in human society, buddhiman, even though he is engaged in all sorts of activities for Krishna. Like our devotees are doing book distribution, it appears they are doing business, but they are not doing it for themselves. They are doing it for pleasure of Hari Guru Vaishnava. So that action is akarma. Akarma means without reaction to work. The impersonalists, now what this line is what Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has given us the explanation. The impersonalist ceases fruitive activities out of fear, so that the resultant action may not be a stumbling block on the path of self-realization. But the personalist knows rightly his position as the eternal servitor of Supreme Personality of Godhead. And therefore they perform action just to please the Krishna. Therefore he engages himself in activities of Krishna consciousness. Because everything is done for Krishna, he enjoys only transcendental happiness in the discharge of his service. So the akarmi is also enjoying, but he is enjoying the work itself, not the result of the work. Like a book distributor distributed 100 books. So he is happy that I have done so nice service. Not that he got a money as a result of selling books, but he has a good number just to please Hari Guru Vaishnava. So he is enjoying in the work itself, not the result of the work. Those who are engaged in this process are known to be without desire for personal sense gratification. It means bhoktapan, they are not enjoyer of the results. The sense of eternal servitorship to Krishna makes one immune to all sorts of reactionary elements of work. This is like Atma Gyan, or the Swarup. One knows his Swarup, Jivera Swarup, Krishna Nitya Das. So as the eternal servant of Krishna, I am doing service as my Swarup, and therefore he is not entangled in the action and reaction of the work. So this is the definition of akarmi. Once, a crude example, many years back I was sometime referring, it's a small child is on the lap of somebody who has a beard or something, and he's playing with the beard. So he's doing action. But he is not thinking that I am, disturbing a person or disrespecting a person. He's simply playing with his beard. So he's doing action, but it is like inaction. But the mother of the child, if she is laughing, then she's not actually doing any action, but she is implicated in a reaction, because though she is not doing action, but it looks she is akarmi, but she is doing karma, that she is laughing that so and so person, his beard is being pulled by a child. So this is something like that, not doing anything but is still implicated in reaction, and doing something and still there is no reaction because he is innocent. So devotees are like a child, they simply do work just to please Krishna, and therefore they are not entangled. Now, next verse. Yasya sarve samarambha kama sankalpa varjitaha jnanagni dagda karmanam tamaho panditam buddhaha. Yasya, anyone. Sarve samarambha, it means from the beginning of all work. Kam sankalpa varjitaha, given up the desire for enjoyment of the result. Gyan agni dagda karmanam, so by the fire of knowledge they have burned all the karma. Tam ahu, those are known, panditam, pandit are learned, are wise by Buddha, the wise man. The wise says that he is learned, who engage in all activities, but being devoid of desire for enjoyment, has burned up all action by fire of knowledge. So this Gyan Agni will come again in this chapter. All the work is burned by the fire of knowledge. So, in 5 verses the Lord speaks karma as a form of Gyan. So 19 onward, these verses, Krishna is speaking karma as form of Gyan. It means at the platform of Gyan. So these 5 verses, the theme of this section, the karma at the level of Gyan. Only a person in full knowledge of the self, can understand the activities of a person in Krishna consciousness. So a person in Krishna consciousness knows that I am servant of Krishna and I am doing my duty. And when one performs his duty, like this is a good example always Srila Prabhupada used to give, the military man while fighting at the border, on the order of the commander-in-chief, he may kill so many people, but still he is not implicated in any reaction. Even he is awarded the highest medal, because he is working on the order of the Supreme, on the order of the Supreme Authority. So similarly, the devotee who knows that I am servant of Krishna and I am working to please Krishna, therefore all his actions has no reaction, and he will be awarded the highest medal of being the eternal associate of Krishna. Because the person in Krishna consciousness is devoid of all kinds of sense gratificatory propensities. So he is not at a bodily platform to enjoy, but he is at the platform of the spirit soul to render service. It is to be understood that he has burned up the reaction of his work by perfect knowledge of his constitutional position as the eternal servitor of Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is actually learned who has attained to such perfection of knowledge. Such perfection of knowledge means I am servant of Krishna. Development of this knowledge of eternal service of Lord is compared to fire. So which is the Gyan Agni? Gyan Agni is the knowledge of self-realization, that I am the eternal servant of Krishna. That is fire. Such a fire once kindled can burn up all kinds of reaction to work. Because I am not enjoyer. Enjoyer is Krishna. I am not doer. I am simply instrument. So he is not entangled in any action. Verse number 20. Tyaktva karam phala sangam nitya tripto nirashriya karmane abhipravrto api naiva kinchit karoti sa. Tyaktva karam phala sangam. Tyaktva means giving up. Giving up. Karma phala means the result of the work. Sangam means attachment. Giving up attachment to the result of the work. Nitya tripto, always satisfied. Nirashra, not having any hope that I will get something out of this. Karmane abhipravrta, he may be engaged in all sort of work. Naiva kinchit karoti, he is not doing anything. Though intently engaged in action, having given up the desire for result of action, being always satisfied, non-dependent on others, nirashri, not dependent on others, this person does nothing at all. Somebody should read Srila Prabhupada's translation.
Hare Krishna, abandoning all attachment to the results of his activities, ever satisfied and independent, he performs no fruitive action, although engaged in all kinds of undertakings.
When we say fruitive action means not attached to the result of the work. So Srila Prabhupada writes, this freedom from bondage of action is possible only in Krishna consciousness, when one is doing everything for Krishna. Freedom from bondage of the action means not going to enjoy or suffer the reaction. A Krishna conscious person acts out of pure love for Supreme Personality of Godhead. And therefore he has no attraction for the result of his action. He is acting out of pure love for Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is not even attached to his personal maintenance, that is Nirashi. This is the meaning of Nirashi. For everything is left to Krishna. Nor is he anxious to secure things, nor to protect things already in his possession. Anybody can guess what does these two words means. What is the meaning of these two words? Any verse is coming in your mind when you are reading these two words? Nor is anxious to secure things, nor he protect things already in his possession. He does his duty to the best of his ability and leaves everything to Krishna. So what is this one line, nor he is anxious? Anybody can tell me this? There's a verse, very famous verse.
Ananyas chintayantam mam. Hare
Yeah,
Krishna.
exactly this verse, the last words, these are the two last words. Yoga kshemam vahami am. So Krishna says, I will take care what he lacks and I will protect what he have. So he is simply working out of love for Krishna, and Krishna take care of his needs and protect him. This is the verse. These two lines are from this verse of 9th chapter. Such an unattached person is always free from the resultant reaction of the good and bad. It is as though he were not doing anything, though doing everything. This is a sign of akarma, or action without fruitive reaction. Any other action, therefore, now Prabhupada is giving actually definition of vikarma. And this is a very specific definition of Prabhupada. Any other action, therefore, devoid of Krishna consciousness, is binding upon the worker, and that is the real aspect of vikarma, as explained here in before. So action and Krishna consciousness is akarma, and all other actions are vikarma. Though it may be karma, may lead to the heaven, but it is a bondage. Verse 21. Nirashi yat chitatma tyakta sarva parigraha sariram kevalam karma kurvanna panoti kilbasham. Nirashi. Nirashi means having without desire. Asha means hope. Yat chitatma. Yat chitatma is very important word. Yat chitatma means yat is the word which means to control. Yati, like sannyasi who control his senses. Yat means controller. And chit and atma, mind and body. So the one who is without desire, who has controlled his mind and body, tyakta sarva parigraha, given up all endeavors. Sarva, having given up all sense of taking from others. Tyakta sarva parigraha. Parigraha means to accumulate something from somewhere. So he has given up that sense of accumulating things. Sariram kevalam karma, he is doing work with his body. Kurvan napanoti kilvisham. And then he is not doing any sin. Kilvisham means sin. So having given up all sense of taking from others, being without desire and controlled in mind and body, perform acts only to support his body, he does not incur sin. Read Srila Prabhupada's translation.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, can I do?
Yes.
Such a man of understanding acts with mind and intelligence perfectly controlled, gives up all sense of proprietorship over his possessions, and acts only for the bare necessities of life. Thus working, he is not affected by sinful reactions. Thank you.
So in the translation, can you figure out which word of the verse is put by Srila Prabhupada where? Yeah, read the first line.
Such a man of understanding acts with mind and intelligence perfectly controlled.
So chit yat atma is a intelligence perfectly mind and controlled. Okay, mind and intelligence. So Prabhupada has written yat chit atma means mind and intelligence controlled. Okay. Next.
Gives up all sense of proprietorship over his possessions.
So tyaktva sarva parigraha. No proprietorship over what he has accumulated. Okay. Further.
And acts only for the bare necessities of life.
Shariram kevalam karma. For the maintenance of his body. Or bare needs of his body. Okay.
Thus working, he is not affected by sinful reaction.
Kurvan napnoti kilvisham. So these are the words like that. Is it okay? Now here Baldev Vidyabhushan is using one word. 3 verses now speak of the state of Arud. One who has attained the goal, study knowledge. There are 2 words which we will again study in 6th chapter. One is called Aruruksha and other is called Arudha. Aruruksha means beginner in the process. And Arud means who has reached to the perfection. There the word is Yoga Aruruksha, Yoga Arudha. Means one who is a beginner of the yoga and one who has attained the perfection in yoga. So here, these 3 verses, they are speaking about Arudha means the Nishkam Karma Yogi has attained the stage of Jnana Yoga. It means he has reached to the perfection of Karma Yoga. The purpose of Karma Yoga is to purify the heart. To purify the heart means to make us understand that we are eternal servant of Krishna. And when this knowledge is acquired, then we will automatically be detached from enjoying mentality. That is the stage of Arudha. So it means the study in knowledge, Jnana. He from whom desire for results have departed, whose mind and body are controlled, who is devoid of possession of material object, because his purpose is only to see Atma, though engage in action to gain material object to support the body, does not incur sin. So this is the simple meaning of the words by Baldev Vidya. Srila Prabhupada writes, a Krishna conscious person does not expect good or bad result in his activities. Good result or bad result. A Krishna conscious person So a Krishna conscious person does not expect good or bad result in his activities. His mind and intelligence are fully controlled. So Prabhupada writes, Yat Chit Atma. Chit Atma. Chit is mind and Atma, as Prabhupada writes here, intelligence. And the other two acharyas, they have used the word mind, body and mind. He knows that because he is part and parcel of the Supreme, the part played by him as a part and parcel of the whole is not his own activity, but is the only being done through him by the Supreme. This is a little more understanding in depth. He is an instrument. It means he is an instrument. Like there is a one nut or bolt in a machine. When machine is working, the nut and bolt is automatically working. So it's not that nut and bolt has a self-interest, but he is a part of the machine. So Prabhupada gives the example of machine in this. When the hand moves, it does not move out of his own accord, but by the endeavor of the whole body. A Krishna conscious person is always dovetailed with the supreme desire, for he has no desire for personal sense gratification. He moves exactly like a part of machine. This is the analogy Prabhupada is giving. As a machine, part requires oiling and cleansing for maintenance. So a Krishna conscious man maintains himself by his work, just to remain fit for action in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. This is the meaning of the, he is working only to maintain his body, because he wants to keep the body fit to be used in service of Krishna. So this is an analogy. To keep the body fit is like oiling and cleansing the part of a machine. He is therefore immune to all reaction of his endeavors. Like an animal, another example is given. Like an animal, he has no proprietorship over his own body. Nirashi. Like an animal, he has no proprietorship even over his body. A cruel proprietor of an animal sometimes kills the animal in his possession, yet the animal does not protest. This is like the devotee is fully dependent upon Krishna, on Krishna. Like this one example you will also see in a nectar of devotion. Sharanagati means like an animal sold to the another owner. So the owner has to feed him, or just don't feed him or whatever, but animal never protests. So like an animal, nor does it have any real independence. Real independence means not self-interest. His all activities are dovetailed to please Krishna. A Krishna conscious person fully engaged in self-realization has very little time to falsely possess any material object. So Srila Prabhupada's commentary has two examples in this purport. You remember this purport of the verse number 21. The one is the part of a machine, which is like a body, which needs whole. Machine is like whole universe and all creation of Krishna, and we are one small part in that. So we just maintain our body to be active in service of Krishna. And the other example is the animal. For maintaining body and soul, he does not require unfair means of accumulating money. This Srila Prabhupada is giving advice to the devotees. In the name of maintaining body, one should not do wrong means to accumulate money. He does not therefore become contaminated by such material sins. He is free from all reaction to his actions. Verse 22. Yadricha labha santushto dvandvatito vimatsaraha samasiddho siddhopi cha kirtvapi nibadhyate. This is yoga arudha. This is the stage of knowledge. Yadricha means by the providence, by the mercy of Lord, whatever comes. Labha santushto, whatever comes, he is happy. Dvanda atito, he has given up the dualities. Vimatsara, he is not envious of anybody. Samasiddho asiddho, he may be successful, he may not be successful. Kirtvapi nabadhyate, though he is doing all action, he is not bound to the reaction of the action. Satisfied with what comes out of its own accord, yadricha labha santushto. He is satisfied, whatever comes. Free of all dualities, dvanda atito. Free of envy, calm in the face of success or failure. Samasiddho asiddho. Though engaged in work, that person is not bound. Baldev Vidyabhushan says this verse show that one should not make extra effort to attend food or clothing for one's bodily maintenance. That person is satisfied what is attained on its own without asking for. He is tolerant, atitaha, of dualities such as heat and cold. He does not have hatred of those who attack him, vimatsaraha. He is equal, being devoid of joy at what comes out of its own accord, and devoid of lamentation when nothing comes. If somebody gives him gulab jamun, he is not happy, and somebody is not giving anything to him, he is not unhappy. Srila Prabhupada writes, a Krishna conscious person does not make such endeavor even to maintain his body. Such endeavor means working hard to make money. No, he's not doing this. He's satisfied with the gain which are obtained of their own accord. Of their own accord, he has a faith that Krishna will provide me everything what is necessary for my service to Krishna. He neither begs nor borrows, but he labors honestly as far as in his power, and is satisfied with whatever is obtained by his own honest labor. He is therefore independent in his livelihood. He does not allow anyone's service to hamper his own service in Krishna consciousness. However, for the service of the Lord, he can participate in any kind of action without being disturbed by the dualities of the material world. So what Srila Prabhupada is writing, he is therefore independent in his livelihood. Generally, he is not like serving some other master. He is just doing little work like Sridhar Kola was even selling the banana leaves, which are not giving much money, but he is satisfied. Whatever little is coming, and he is spending just for the pleasure of Mother Ganga and just maintaining his body. So like that, he is not dependent on anybody else. And nobody else is disturbing his work in Krishna consciousness. It means if he is serving to somebody else, then this master will say, no, you cannot go there, you have to work here because I am paying you. So he is not dependent on other person. Gat sangasya muktasya jnana avastit chetasah yagnachartah karma samagram parvaliyate. Now the subject is going actually towards the yajna. Gata sangasya muktasya, which means free from attachment. Sangasya means attachment. Gat means giving up. Muktasya means devoid of desire for result. Gyan avastit chetasah, Gyan avastit, absorbed in the knowledge. And engage in action of yagna. Yagna acharata karma. Yagna achara. Achara means his all activities for the yagya. And yagya is like Vishnu. Yagya means Vishnu. He does not occur karmic reactions. Samagram parvaliyat. Samagram means everything. Parvaliyate means they will not yield any reaction. So, gat sangasya muktasya jnana astit chetasah yagna acharata karma samagram parvaliyate. So, he is doing actions just as a yagya to please Krishna. And he has no personal, any attachment to the result of the action. And therefore, all his actions will not bear any fruitive result. So, read Srila Prabhupada's translation. Yes?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, may I?
Yes.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. The work of a man who is unattached to the modes of material nature and who is fully situated in transcendental knowledge merged entirely into transcendence. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Well, this translation is quite interesting. Read again. Read again.
Yes, Prabhuji, again?
Yes.
Okay, Prabhuji, thank you. The work of a man who is unattached to the modes of material nature and who is fully situated in transcendental knowledge merges entirely into transcendence. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
So now these all words can somebody put in the verse? The first line of the
Yes,
translation is Gata Sangasya Muktasya. So
Yes,
Sangasya Prabhupada says Sangha means attachment. Attachment to what? Three modes of material nature. So he's free from the influence of three modes of material nature. Gyan Avasthit Chetsa means he is situated in a transcendental position. And then Yagna Archat Prabhupada writes, Yagya is a transcendence. So Srila Prabhupada used Yagya as a transcendence, which means beyond the material purview, which is actually Supreme Lord. So this language used, and see what is word to word for this. Can you see what is word to word for Yagya Archata?
Yes, Prabhuji, it is Yagya.
Huh?
Yagya Acharata.
Uh-huh.
Acharata is acting,
Yes.
and Yagna for the sake of Krishna.
Now, for the sake of Krishna, Srila Prabhupada is used in a translation as a transcendence. Generally, transcendence means beyond three modes of material nature. So, Srila Prabhupada, since he has used the word not bound by three modes of material nature, therefore he is using the word transcendence. So, it is better sometime to meditate on the verse, a word in the verse and the translation and correlate them. So, Srila Prabhupada's purpose is becoming fully Krishna consciousness. One is freed from all dualities and thus is free from the contamination of material moods. So, Srila Prabhupada's analysis is, since he is free from heat, cold, mind, yours, happy, unhappy, so dualities are over. It means he has no influence of modes of material nature. because dualities are due to modes of material nature. He can become liberated because he knows his constant position relationship with Krishna. Muktasya. This is the Prabhupada is speaking about Muktasya. Mukta means liberation. How he is liberated? Because he knows his relationship with Krishna. And thus his mind cannot be drawn from Krishna consciousness. Consequently, the result will be whatever he does for Krishna. Yagya acharata. Who is primal Vishnu, which means Yagya. Therefore, all his work are technically sacrifice, Yagya. Because sacrifice aims at satisfying the Supreme Person, Vishnu or Krishna. The resultant reaction to all such work certainly merge into transcendence and does not suffer material effect. Means his work, his reactions are merged into transcendence, means no material effect. It is all spiritual. The last verse of this section. Brahmarpanam brahmahavi brahmagno brahmanahutam brahma evatena gantavyam brahma karma samadhina. Now here the word Brahm here actually means transcendence. So Brahma Arpanam, whatever he is offering, it is also transcendental. Brahma Havi. Havi is something which is put into the Yagya. So now the terminology of Yagya is coming. You see this verse and similar verse will be in, I think, 9th chapter also, where words are same, but instead of Brahma, Krishna said Aham. Aham kartu, aham yagya, aham swada, aham aushadam, mantro, aham. Everything Krishna will say, instead of Brahma, he will say I. So Brahma is transcendent, which means Vishnu or Krishna. So similar verse in 9th chapter, but only the word Brahm is replaced by person Krishna. So oblation consisting of Brahma Arpanam, with Brahm as a ladle, Brahma Havi. Havi means the ladle in which the ghee is taken to put in the yagya, is offered into the fire, which is Brahma Agno Hutam, by the person who is Brahmana. Now when the person who is Brahma, how the person become Brahma? Then you remember this verse. Avibicharena bhogya yogena sagunanavi samayate tana Brahma bhuyaya kalpate. One who is free from 3 modes of material nature by performing devotional services and at this stage of Brahma. Brahma bhuta prasanna atma. So it means he is free from 3 modes of material nature. So he is at the level of Brahma. The person Brahma attains Brahma. It means Brahmana eva tem gantavyam. By being absorbed in the action of Brahma karma samadhina. So this word Brahm here means, now you read the Srila Prabhupada's translation.
Krishna Prabhuji, can I read?
Yeah.
A person who is fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness is sure to attain the spiritual kingdom because of his full contribution to spiritual activities, in which the consummation is absolute and that which is offered is of the same spiritual nature.
So the word Brahma here is transcendental. And the other things are, now Chakravarti Pad writes, since he performed action for the purpose of yagya, so what is the yagya? What type of yagya is this? Arpanam refers to instrument, such as wooden spoon, used to offer ghee into the fire. This is Brahma. The substance used as oblation is Brahma. The fire in which the oblation is placed is Brahma. Performer of the yagya is Brahma. The person who sees things in this way attains Brahma alone, not any other result. Why? It is because he has concentrated his attention on the action which is composed only of Brahma. Brahma Karma Samadhina. Srila Prabhupada writes, how activities in Krishna consciousness can lead one ultimately to the spiritual goal is described here. A spiritual goal, Brahm here means is spiritual. There are various activities in Krishna consciousness, and all of them will be described in the following verses. Following verses means the verses 9, now verses are coming all yajna, different type of yajna. But for the present, just the principle of Krishna consciousness is described. So this verse, Srila Prabhupada says, is a principle of Krishna consciousness. It means how one should perform his action in Krishna consciousness, beyond three modes of material action, three modes of material nature, as a level of by bhakti. That it means the devotional activities are beyond three modes of material nature. Therefore, they are at the level of Brahma or transcendence. A conditioned soul engaged in material contamination is sure to act in material atmosphere, and yet he has to get out of such an environment. The process by which the conditioned soul can get out of the material atmosphere is called Krishna consciousness. For example, a patient who is suffering from the disorder of bowel due to the overindulgence in the milk products is cured by another milk product, namely curd. So Srila Prabhupada is giving an analogy. The work in this material world caused bondage. But now we have to do some other work which will actually free us from bondage. And that work is work in Krishna consciousness. So same work is there, like a person becomes sick because of milk product is cured by the another milk product, curds. The materially absorbed a conditioned soul can be cured by Krishna consciousness, as set forth here in the Gita. This process is generally known as yajna, or activities, simply meant for satisfaction of Vishnu or Krishna. It means work has to be done. Either we do it for ourselves, then there is a bondage. We do the same work for Krishna, then it is freedom. The more the activities of material world are performed in Krishna consciousness or Vishnu, for Vishnu only, the more the atmosphere becomes spiritualized by the complete absorption. Complete absorption means thinking of Krishna. I am doing it for Krishna. The word Brahma means is spiritual. The Lord is spiritual. And the rays of his transcendental body called Brahma Jyoti is a spiritual effulgence. Because usually the Jnani says Brahma means the Brahma Jyoti. Everything that exists is situated in Brahma Jyoti. Everything that exists is situated in that Brahma Jyoti. But when the Jyoti is covered by illusion or Maya or sense gratification, it is called material. It means everything is spiritual only when it is covered by sense gratificatory mode or Maya, then it is material. Otherwise, everything can be spiritual. So everything can be spiritualized. This material veil or the covering can be removed at once by Krishna consciousness. Thus, the offering for the sake of Krishna consciousness, the consuming agent of such an offering or contribution, the process of consumption, the contributor, and the results are all combined together, Brahm or the absolute truth. So these words used here are offering, contribution, consumption. These are the technical words for yajna, havi, arpanam, havi, agno. These are all the technical words. The absolute truth covered by Maya is called matter. Matter dovetailed for the cause of the absolute truth regain its spiritual quality. These lines needs to be underlined. This is a philosophy. Absolute truth, which means all-inclusive Supreme Personality of Godhead, covered by Maya is called matter. The matter dovetailed for the cause of the absolute truth regain its spiritual quality. Absolute truth covered by Maya is called matter. It means this material world is creation of Krishna, but is covered by Maya. So whatever material things we use for the service of Krishna, then they will have a spiritual quality. Krishna consciousness, the process of converting the illusory consciousness into Brahm or Supreme. Illusory consciousness means enjoying mentality. And into Brahm or the Supreme means going beyond the enjoying mentality into the service attitude. When the mind is fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness, it is stated to be in samadhi or trance. Anything done in such transcendent consciousness is called yajna. Means all work with a full concentration on Krishna, for Krishna, for the pleasure of Krishna, or the sacrifice for the Absolute. In that condition of spiritual consciousness, the contributor, the contribution, the conception, and the performer are the leader of the performance, and the result or the ultimate gain. Everything becomes one in the Absolute Supreme Brahm. That is the method for Krishna consciousness. It means, if you remember one thing, when the devotee is going to do the deity worship, there is a one technical word called Bhut Siddhi. Bhut Shuddhi. Shuddhi means purification. Bhut means bodily concept. So at that time, he considered that I am not the material body. I am going to serve the Supreme Lord who is not matter, who is complete spirit. So I should purify my consciousness and become completely spirit. So this Bhut Shuddhi, then whatever he is performing, Archa Vigraha Puja, that is all absolute. It is not material at all. And this is the one mantra which Mahaprabhu has given to us for Bhut Shuddhi. Even while chanting Hare Krishna, Nam Vipro na Ham Vipro na Grahapati na Vanaspati. So I am not Brahman, I am not Kshatriya, I am not Vaishya, I am not Shudra, I am not Brahmachari, I am not Sannyasi, I am not Grasta. Who are you? Gopi Bharta Upad Kamal Yor Das 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 Anudas. I am the servant of the Gopinath. So this is actually Bhut Shuddhi. So when we are acting as a servant of Krishna, then all our activities are actually devotional and service of Krishna. That is transcendence. So we have finished this section. The next section is the sacrifice leads to transcendental knowledge. And this section goes from 25 to 33. And there are a number of yajna. There are different varieties of yajna. Some are for jnanis, some are for impersonalists, some are for brahmacharis, some are for grastas, and ultimately they are divided into two types of yajna: dravya yajna and jnana yajna. Dravya means the material objects or things like money and other things, and jnana. So out of the two, the jnana is best. So I think is enough for today. Any question or comment? This section and then the next is most important section. So any question or comment?
Danvat Pranam Prabhuji. Prabhuji, for a householder, while I was reading all the shlokas, so for a householder, the application seems to be a little difficult. Can't understand the normal activities a householder does. So
only consciousness has to change. You are going to the market, you find nice mangoes. Now, ordinary people think, oh, today I should buy this mango and my children, my husband, I will offer. This is a normal people consciousness. Devotional consciousness is, oh, nice, wonderful mangoes are available in market. Oh, today I will offer these mangoes to my deities, and then we will honor the prasad. Only consciousness has to be changed. Oh, he is my son. This is a material consciousness. Krishna has given me this nice boy to be trained and offered to Krishna for service. So we have to connect everything with Krishna in our household. Oh, I have nice husband because I alone is not able to serve Krishna. So Krishna has given me another partner. So we together can work nicely. So we are all for service of Krishna. So only the consciousness needs to be changed. Then everything is very simple. Whatever you think is good for, I like this, you said this is for Krishna's pleasure, not for my pleasure. I simply get prasad. That consciousness will help us to, everything what we have is Krishna's, but Krishna is mine. That is the Grasta consciousness.
Yes, beautiful. Thank you, Prabhuji, so much.
Hare Krishna. I'm sorry I'm slow, huh? Hare Krishna.
Sorry, Prabhuji, please continue. Prabhuji.
Yeah. Yes, Bhakti Prada Champak Lata ji. Yes.
Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Sorry, Prabhuji, I have interrupted you.
No problem. Say, anybody has a question?
Yes, Prabhuji. Actually, normally devotees, sometimes what they do is, myself, if we say about consciousness, we will tell like, okay, fine, to eat at some party or some fair outside, or to the other people's home who are not devotees. Just we should have our consciousness that we should not that they should not think that they are Krishnatarians and they don't eat prasadam, and that kind of consciousness we can have, and we can have the food over there which is not prasadam. So sometimes this kind of consciousness also we can hear in devotees. Is that correct consciousness, Prabhuji?
See, if people are inviting us knowing that we are Krishna's devotees and they still invite us at their place, it means they have some respect for Krishna consciousness. Because they have respect for Krishna consciousness, they are inviting us at their home for prasad. Though they are not devotees, no, we have to teach them how the prasad is, how the food is purified by offering to Krishna. And Srila Prabhupada's whole life, he was invited by so many rich Hindus all over the world. And Prabhupada was going to their home. And he was asking the devotees to offer the prasad, teach them how to offer the prasad. So we should have more like a compassion for the people because they are not knowing this. We should go there, we should make good friendship with them. If they accept us, then they accept our advice also. And then they become more, they can begin their Krishna consciousness. But if we say we don't eat there, you are karmi, you are not offering food, then it means we are closing the door for them to become devotee. So now, generally, I would say there are two types of devotees. Those devotees who are weak, they will be more influenced by these rich people. They should not go there because they will not teach them, but they will get influenced by them. But the devotees who are more strong and fixed, they can go and preach to them and teach them. So now it depends upon an individual devotee. If he thinks I am weak, if I go and eat there, I will be contaminated, he should not go. But a devotee thinks, well, why I should be contaminated? I will chant the Hare Krishna mantra before eating. I think in Pakistan, I think it's maybe 40 years back. Giriraj Swami and one other disciple of Prabhupada, Amogilila Das, we were invited by a rich Hindu community, and the prasad was on the table, and we simply chanted as usual, Sarira Vedya Jal and Hare Krishna Mahamantar Panchtatva. When we came out, then the other disciple asked Giriraj Maharaj why we have taken prasad of a rich man, it was not offered. And Giriraj Maharaj said, we have chanted all mantra, it is offered. We chanted mantra before we ate. So it is offered, what is the problem? So the point is, if this devotee is strong, then he thinks that I will actually give association to these people and they will advance in Krishna consciousness. Even if I have a little trouble to take, I don't mind, because I am preacher, I must take a little austerity. But I must go and preach. And if the devotee is weak, then he should avoid all this and more concentrate on his sadhana till he becomes strong enough to preach. Ultimately, we have to preach to the non-devotees.
Yes, Prabhuji, correct. But the other devotees side, whoever we are invited, they know that we are Krishnatarians, but still they use this non-veg and onion garlic. So how
No, that we will not take. It's not that we are going to take non-veg and onion garlic. Or that nothing we have to do with that. People even, so they know that we don't eat that, then they separately make something for us. Or else simply we just go there and talk with them and may not eat anything, just eat fruit and say, well, I'm on fasting today, I just eat fruit, that's it.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Yeah, eat fruit, that's nothing else, just eat fruit. Prabhupada said outside we can eat fruit or some milk products, that's all. Not other things cooked by the karmis, not other things cooked by karmi. Anyway, this is a controversial topic. This is Hare Krishna. This is a controversial topic. Different devotees has a different opinion on this topic.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, Hare Krishna. I think next week I will be in Bangalore. I will be personally there maybe. Next week, I think for 7 days I'm in Bangalore. Okay, see you there, Hare Krishna. I'm sorry I'm taking less time.
Please take care of your health, Prabhuji, that's okay.
Yeah, anyway, I'm going slow. 4th chapter is taking much time. Anyway, Hare Krishna, see you. Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam.
Thank you.
Vancha kalpatarusya kripa
Please take care,
sindhu.
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.